Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 10 Extra Mastermind class. All of you guys are here, I think, at this point, so let's get started. So now, just to give you a quick update, we do have a couple of guests in today's meeting. They just came here to check out our class, so I will be recording at least the first part of today's class for these folks so they can, check back later on. But today's topic is obviously YouTube marketing. And last time we connected, I asked all of you guys to make a YouTube channel and upload your first video. So hopefully all of you guys have already done that. And what we will do is after today's class, we are going to review your YouTube channels and we will give you some feedback as to how you can improve them. Over the next couple of months, we'll be focusing on YouTube heavily. So we'll be talking about a lot of different ways you can monetize YouTube. And when I say monetize, I don't necessarily mean by that you need to make money from the advertising platform, but I'm talking about how can you generate more leads? How can you get more people to watch your message? How can you get more customers? How can you build your brand? So we'll be talking about all that kind of good stuff. And as you know, so we do have a couple of guests. So what we will do is after first part of the meeting, I will go ahead and stop the recording because obviously we don't want your YouTube channels to become part of this training class. So I'll stop that. But guests are welcome to stick around and kind of see how we give feedback on these YouTube channels so you can see that in action. All right, having that said, let's get started. So first of all, I hope everybody has created their YouTube channel. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up or let me know in a chat message so I know you have done that. If you're still working on it and you're not able to get done, then also please put a thumbs up or write a little note and we'll have somebody from the team reach out to you and make sure you are up and running. And if there's any problem, we can definitely help you with that because this is obviously YouTube is the #2 website in the world. I mean, they have over, I think, 2 billion people visit that site. You want a piece of that pie. You don't want to leave that alone. So it's a great marketing channel. So we want to make sure you're there and you're getting the most out of it. Well, that's why you joined the mastermind classes to begin with, right? All right. So let's talk about YouTube. Now, when you create a video, there are many places you can put that video, right? Like you can upload that video onto Facebook, as you already know. You can upload that video onto your website, you know that. And you can also put that on our community website. So those of you guys who already have a community, I know a couple of guests who are new here. So 10 Extra is an online software that allows you to build your own community websites, and you can also put your videos there. So there are 3 different ways to put your videos. At least there are many other ways, but these are probably the most common. So you can think of 10 Extra website as your local website if you're not already using it. Or Facebook, we all are familiar with, and YouTube, we are all familiar with. So we have these options. Now, the question I want to ask you is, which one is the best option? Where should you put your video? So let's start with our 10 Extra website. So you see this video up here. This is kind of like how 10 Extra websites videos look like. And what we do is when you take a link from a YouTube video, I mean, obviously it has to be your video, and you put it on a 10 Extra website. And when I say 10 Extra website, it is your website. 10 Extra is just a backend platform that hosts that website. We automatically remove all the advertisements. We automatically remove all the related videos, all that stuff that is available on YouTube. We remove all that, and we just paste a nice, clear video on your website. So that's what 10 Extra website can do for you. When you do it on Facebook, you can obviously upload the video on Facebook as well, but basically then your video is there on Facebook and people can easily watch it. They don't have to go anywhere. They can click on it and they can watch your video. And we all are familiar with YouTube. So what do you think is the best way to publish your video? Now, before you answer that question, let me give you a little bit of background. Let's say you paste a link on Facebook for your video, and that link is YouTube. What do you think what happened with your audience? What happened with your customer? They clicked on that link on Facebook, let's just say right here, and they ended up on YouTube. That means they went from a Facebook website to a YouTube website. although they're watching your content, but either way, there's a chance they will get distracted and end up on some other website. It can happen on Facebook, it can happen on YouTube. They might even see your competition and click on their ad, their video, and boom, you just lost them. So it's an exit door. So every time you post something on Facebook, yes, it drives engagement because customers have access to that video very quickly. But at the same time, it's an exit door. You can lose that audience very, very fast. They can move on somewhere else. Same thing with YouTube. You put up a video on YouTube and you press the publish button, and next thing you know, your video is available to millions of customers on YouTube in your local community. But at the same time, they're also looking at the content from your competition, and you can lose that audience as well. So there's a problem there. Now, from all these things, sounds like posting it on your website makes the most sense, right? Because if you paste the link of your website on Facebook, guess what happens? Customer clicks on that link and they end up on your website. Now on your website, you can engage them, you can convert them into a lead, you can show them other related content. So you can do a whole lot on your website than what you can do on YouTube, on Facebook. Now, believe me or not, I agree with that 100%. Okay, so that is definitely a good strategy. You should be posting links for your website on Facebook, on Twitter, social media, for that matter, even on YouTube videos. You have that description place. You should be pasting links to your website and driving as much traffic back to your website. But you see, in today's class, we're here to really talk about YouTube. So I just wanted to get this out of the way so you understand the different ways you can publish your video. But let me talk about YouTube in particular, because there are some things we need to watch out for. So what we want to do is let's break the entire user journey into small steps. And we want to do that so we can kind of look at it from a customer's point of view. Now, guess we do this pretty much with all our marketing strategy. We try to break them down into small pieces and look at what we call exit doors. Like, where are we losing? Where can we go wrong? So that helps us kind of makes us stay focused on our goal. So when you talk about YouTube videos, I lay down 5 key places where you can actually lose a customer. So for example, let's take a look at step number 1. Can your audience find your video? Now, if you're on YouTube and people search for, let's just say, inauguration, presidential inauguration, and let's say you were at the inauguration, and if people can't find your video because there are a lot of these other news channels and TV and a lot of other celebrities have the competing videos with yours, people might not be able to discover your video. Well, guess what? That's your, that's your front door closed. If people can't find your video to begin with, no good. There's nothing you can really do about that. So we're going to talk about how can you deal with that exit door, or let's call it a locked door, because technically door didn't even open up. So we're going to talk about how can you get your audience to find your video, because if you cannot overcome that first step, everything else is irrelevant. Let's go to step number 2. Once somebody finds their video, will they click on your video? I mean, YouTube is like a discovery channel, right? I don't mean like discovery channel like you see animals and space mysteries and all that. I mean a discovery channel in a sense that this is where people discover content. This is where they find new stuff that they want to watch. So when you go on YouTube and you search for a particular topic, you come across hundreds, if not thousands of videos, but which one are you going to watch? So your impression of that video needs to be so engaging that somebody wants to click on your video. That's your step 2. So if you don't do a good job there, once again, people might see your video, but they will still not click, and soon it will disappear. So let's say you pass that door, then you come to the third door. Somebody did click on your video, but now they got to watch your video. If they don't watch your video, then once again, you lost that customer. And now that you have done those 3 steps, most people will be satisfied that, okay, yeah, people found my video, they watched my video, my purpose is done. But in marketing, that's just not a good way to look at it, unless you are in a transactional business where you basically need to make one-time pitch and it's either yay or nay kind of thing. If it's like that, then yeah, but for most of us, that's not the case. What you want is you want people to come back to you again and again. And for having people to come back again and again, you need them to subscribe to your channel. So if they're not subscribing, you have another problem that you need to deal with. And step 5 is obviously, even though if they have subscribed, you still want them to come back. Okay. Now, in marketing, one of the key things you can do is to measure what you are doing. If you're not measuring what you're doing, then you are probably losing out on a lot of important information. Now, good news is in 21st century, thanks to all these great companies, that gives us a lot of tools. And believe me or not, many of these tools are free, such as channel analytics by YouTube. It's absolutely free, available to all of us. So you've got to leverage that. Now let's take a look at those 5 steps and let's try to see how would we check that in YouTube analytics. So step number 1, can your audience find your video? Well, if you go to your channel analytics and look under the reach tab, you will see the number of impressions. That's how many times people saw your video. Didn't click on it, they at least saw it. So you will find that information under the reach tab. So take a look at that. Second thing you want to do is take a look at the click-through rate. That means how many people are actually clicking. So remember those thumbnails we were talking about, like when you go there and you see all these hundreds of videos, well, how many people are actually clicking on that video? So you find that once again under reach tab. So your first 2 steps, you need to look at that number under this section. So over the next few months, as we are building your YouTube channel, we'll be focusing on that key metric. So we'll be looking at the reach. So one of the things you want to do is make an Excel sheet if you want, and just write down those numbers. Now, these numbers, I'm not saying for retention purpose, because they're already available in YouTube anytime you want. I want you to write them down so you are aware of them. That means they'll be like they will stay on top of your mind. Once you have an Excel sheet, you say, okay, right now this is my reach. Next week this is my reach. The next week this is my reach. So you will start to see how you're growing, and that would help a lot. Step number 3: will your audience watch your video? You will find that answer under the engagement tab. So if you click on the engagement tab, look at view duration and watch time, and those 2 numbers will tell you if people are actually watching your video. And then lastly, if you go to the audience tab, you'll be able to see new subscribers and returning viewers. So those 2 data metrics is available. So you see, we have all our data right here, and these are the questions we are trying to answer. So this is what we're going to try to fix, and this is how we will track that we have fixed this problem. All right. So if you guys have any questions, please do put in a chat message here, and I will try to cover those once I'm done with this topic. Okay. And I do see some of you guys are already asking questions, so thank you. But I'll definitely cover those in just a few more minutes here. All right. So let's talk about our question number 1, which is, how do you get more impressions? How can you make sure that your video shows up in the stream for more of your audience? Okay. So to answer this question, the first thing you need to understand is when you post a video on YouTube, YouTube doesn't know what to do with it. Okay. Now you need to give YouTube some information about the video so YouTube can make some good decisions and promote your video to a specific set of audience. So how can you help YouTube? So you see how you write a title, that helps YouTube. You write a description, that helps YouTube. You pick a category, that helps YouTube. Okay, so that gives us some basic information. So I think many people get that. I think most of us make it through this simple step. But now comes the complicated part. You see, what happens is when you put up a video, and you can run this experiment on your own if you don't believe me. And I'm talking to guests, by the way, so you are welcome to run a quick test on your YouTube following what I'm about to say. But those of you guys who are in the mastermind class will be running some of these experiments with you over the next couple of months here. So here's an experiment. You take a YouTube video, you just put a title, you put a description, and you post the video up there. Now you make another video. You do the title, you do put the description. So same like step 1, but do one more step. This time, go ahead and send that video to all the people in your email list and see how many people actually click on that video. Go ahead and put that video link on your Facebook page and see how many people are actually clicking. Now remember, I'm not saying upload the video. I'm saying paste a link of YouTube video on your Facebook page and track how many people are clicking on that link. Okay. And same thing, if you have a WhatsApp group, if you have friends, family members, send them that link. Say, hey, I have a video, please check it out. Okay. If you are part of groups on Facebook, go ahead and paste that YouTube link there. If you are on Twitter, paste it there. If you have a website, you have a blog, like basically promote YouTube to as many places as you possibly can. And you see what will happen is, and that's why I put this little first circle here, that's you. I mean, that's not your picture, but imagine that's you. That means the first step, you need to take that first step. You need to promote that videos and get first couple hundred views on that video. And if you do that, YouTube will start to work for you. YouTube will start to distribute your content. You see, one of the responsibility YouTube has is to keep their customers happy. So they want to deliver content that their customers like. So why would they want to deliver a video that nobody likes, that have 5 views on it, 6 views on it? Nobody wants to watch that video. At least, I'm not saying they're bad videos. I'm just saying that's just how YouTube thinks about the video. So if you just make that one change to this strategy, you just simply share the link of your YouTube video everywhere, and you are successful in driving first couple hundred views, you'll be surprised that all of a sudden those 200 views will turn into 500, 500 will turn into 1,000, 1,000 will turn into 10,000, 10,000 will turn into 20,000. Meaning to say is that YouTube will start to drive lots and lots of traffic back to your video. But the key thing here, the key point you want to take home today is to do that first step, which is to distribute your videos in your own personal channel. So think about this way. So a lot of people think, well, I'm going to promote my video on YouTube. Yeah, but at the same time, think it the other way around. You want to promote YouTube. If you promote YouTube, YouTube will promote you. Very simple, right? That's exactly what we do here in our masterclass all the time, right? We're promoting each other. We're helping each other. When I help you, you help me. When you help me, I help you. So that circle goes back. Same thing applies to YouTube. So everybody clear on that point, that you got to be able to drive first couple hundred views by yourself. Okay, tip number 2. This is something you can also use. Is under the description tab. So every YouTube video, you have a description underneath it. Now, by the way, some of guests who are on the call, they're probably thinking, well, what are we talking about? These, description, all that. We had another class which is about how to set up your YouTube channel. So in that class, we talked about how do you set it up, how do you put an imagery there, how do you, upload a video and all that kind of stuff. And the way our program works is if you don't know something, you just open up a ticket and we reach out to you and help you get that step taken care of. So if you don't know what we're talking about, don't worry about it. It's just that you're in a different class. All right. So having that said, if you're uploading that video and you're under the description tab, what you want to do is put a link of other related videos. So if I like your video, now obviously YouTube do a good job of showing me related videos, but by adding links, you're creating another opportunity for yourself, for people to discover more of your videos. So that helps a lot. You can also use tags in your video. They used to mean a lot back in the days. Google and YouTube, and for that matter, everybody else used to use tags. These days, not so much, so they don't really help a whole lot. But at the same time, I think they do help people kind of get an idea. When you look at tags, you immediately kind of know what kind of video that is. So if you have certain topics, certain things that you're covering in the video, that will definitely help as well. So not a big help in terms of search engines, but it is a big help in terms of that your audience can relate to that video really, really good. So I hope everybody is good with how can you get more impressions for your YouTube video. All right, so let's go to the problem number 2, or exit number 2. So you got yourself lots of impressions. People look at your videos, people can find them, but they are no good to you unless they click on the video and watch the video, right? So this is step 2. How do you get more people to click on your video? So if you are new to YouTube, you probably want to check out YouTube Creators. It's a channel by Google or YouTube, and there are lots of great videos about all sorts of stuff. And I want you to pay attention to a couple of things. Number one thing is the title of their video. So you see that is one thing that is visible to all of us when we watch a video. And the second thing that is available to all of us is this thumbnail right here, right? So when you're looking at this playlist or when you're looking at a search result on YouTube, those are the only two things that is really visible to you, a thumbnail and a title. So those two things has to be crystal clear. The title has to be very, very clear, easy for your consumer to understand or your audience to understand. And thumbnail is something that they should be able to relate to. All right, so let me give you some ideas about that. So if your audience is of particular ethnic background, then you want to use images of that ethnic group. If your video is about a particular type of food, then you want to use that kind of food. If it's about certain nationality, then talk about that. If it's related to religion or holiday or some sort of business, then use imagery like that. The idea is that your audience is very visual. They need to be able to look at this image and immediately relate to that. So I'll give you a simple example. Let's just say if there was a realtor in a local community who is Hispanic background, okay? So you got yourself a realtor who is Hispanic background. So his customers are Hispanic. Well, guess what? He should be using Hispanic customers or his own image on the thumbnail because those are his customers. Those people are more likely to click on the image. Second thing is he should be using emotions, as emotions are amazing, right? If it's a video about something exciting, he needs to show excitement, some happiness, some colors, locations, they play a big role. So anything you can do to cater to people's emotions will help you in getting more clicks on the video. All right, so far good with me. And by the way, we do have a class coming up in the next class where we will talk about how can you create really, really good looking thumbnails and how can you create good looking the headlines. So we'll be talking about those in the next class. So don't worry about it. In this class, I just want to lay down the basic foundation for everything. All right. Now we have problem number 3. People click on our video. You think that that's good enough? Not really. We need to get people to watch this video. So yes, let's say if you happen to find this video on YouTube, you click on the imagery, you were able to get the video, but I have to get you, I think we are roughly about 20 minutes into the video right now. Well, I have to keep you engaged. I have to give you information for you to stick around, something that will help you, something that adds value to whatever it is that you're doing. So, before you start the video, the first 15-20 seconds are critical. So when people click on the play button, they want to see, okay, can I understand this person? Is this material any helpful to me? So I'm making a lot, like me as a consumer, I'm making a lot of decisions. So you need to make it easy for that consumer to make those decisions. So I'll give you an example. These are some of the common ones that I have seen in YouTube videos, but you can probably find tons more if you just kind of watch closely on YouTube. Number 1, big introductions. Sometimes people get into whether they're introducing about themselves or they're introducing their product or service or whatever it is that they're introducing. They spend first 20 minutes just introducing yourself. Well, guess what? Nobody wants to hear you, man. If you know your stuff, tell me your stuff and I'll move on. I got a lot of other things to do. So, you guys come here to this class because you only want to spend 1 hour a month in marketing. That's why you come here, right? Because you don't want to spend any more time. You want to learn what you need to learn and go take certain actions. So don't waste your time on big introductions. Invest in good tools. You need to have a good microphone. You got to make a good video. If your voice is not clear, then people are not going to watch it. Like people can't understand you. All right. Now, a lot of our students, they say, well, I can't speak properly or my English is bad and all that kind of good stuff. Those are not problems. You need to understand that your accent, like let's just say if you have a particular accent, like I have I'm from India, so I have a accent from India. And if I have an audience that is watching me and I'm speaking with that accent, that's okay, because they're okay with that accent. So as long as your audience is okay with your accent, there's not a problem at all, right? And if your audience is not okay, you might want to find a new audience. So, but what is a problem is monotone. So if you talk in the same boring kind of way, people get bored and they will move on. So definitely don't do that. Don't repeat yourself. Don't keep saying same thing over and over and over again. So that gets boring and people kind of move on. Click and bait techniques. People say, oh, I'm going to show you this, but then they show you something else. People hate that. That's a bad branding. That's a bad customer service. Don't do that. All right. So what can you do? Well, what you can do is take your first 10 seconds and give them a trailer. Tell them what are they going to learn in this video? Why is this video important? How are you going to help them? Put down your pieces. Talk about who is your audience, who is your customer, what problems they're experiencing, how are you solving them? Talk about numbers. Talk about big information. Like a big picture. That's what you're trying to paint in first 30 seconds. And that will get people excited, okay? And keep telling them what's coming next. People want to know, what's coming next. When they know what's coming next, they stay engaged, okay? Now, when I first got started in sales, I used to have a manager, and he had so much energy that every time I walk in the door, I felt like he was going to break the door to shake my hand, okay? So bring energy, but you don't have to break a screen or break your microphone. So do bring energy though. All right. And one of the things that helps me personally a lot is having water and exercise, especially on the days when I'm going to do training class or I'm talking to my customers. That helps a lot because it brings your energy level up. All right. Just so you know, I'm coming at about 26 minutes. So I like to keep my videos about 30 minutes so we can move on and reviewing what you have done in the last meeting. So we'll focus on that. All right. Next topic is, now somebody watched your video, how can you get them to subscribe to your video? Well, guess what? The best thing you can do is deliver value. If I know you're the guy who's going to be helping me over and over and over and over again, I want to hear more of you because you're helping my business. You're helping me solve my problem, okay? And if you're not already asking, please do ask customers. When you meet them, when you talk to your customers, when your friends, family members, ask them, hey, can you please subscribe to my channel? Because most subscribers you have, the better it looks and the more circulation you get of your videos. Okay, ask questions. So when you're making a video, ask questions. The more questions you ask, and you can engage your customers, that will help you get more subscribers. Run contests. Run some like giveaway kind of things, reward your audience. When they post comments on your videos, go ahead and reply to them. Okay, that will help a lot. Maintain a theme of your channel. So what I mean by that is, if your channel is about cooking, then talk about cooking, not about traveling. It confuses people. I mean, it's not good. Like, stay focused on what it is that you're trying to teach your customers. Imagery is very important. So keep a consistent image, so people look at the video and they can easily recognize you. Sometimes people one day they're using black and white, one day they're using color, one day they're using this kind of background, one day that kind of background. Confuses people. Stay consistent so people can easily find you. The oldest marketing trick in the book is familiarity. We tend to trust people we're familiar with, right? If you see somebody new in your community, you have to ask yourself, who is this person? So you don't want to be the new guy in the community. Bring that, bring familiarity into your audience. How do you get people to come back? Like I said earlier, you tell them what's coming next. So at the end of the video, always talk about some other video. So a lot of time people talk about the content and they just end the video. Not a good strategy. You want to tell them what else, what else can they learn from you? What else can they do? If you're a realtor, talk about a new community. If you're a realtor, talk about a new restaurant, talk about a new investment, talk about a new company that's coming into your area. So get people excited. That's why they're here. That's what they want to know from you. Show your expertise. What do you know about your area? Okay, and sometimes you want to make videos about your preparation. Like, for example, hey, I have a video coming up about a new Google headquarters coming in our area. Let me show you what progress is going on. What are they doing? What are they working on? Your excitement will get people to come back. That's very, very important. All right, so we are almost at 30 minutes, so I'm going to stop right here. But I just want to remind you guys, in the next meeting, we are going to talk about how to write a catchy title. I mean, you want people to click on your videos, right? We'll talk about how to build a beautiful thumbnail that people want to click on. We will talk about how to build your content calendar. So those are the three things we'll be discussing in next class. And here is your homework for this month. Number one is arrange a mic, camera, light, tripod, etc. So all of these things we talked about in the last class, so you already know all that stuff. And if you guys want to watch that video again, reach out to me and I'll be happy to send you that video if you want to review it. But be ready with all that kind of good stuff. Okay. Second thing is, now that your YouTube channel is already up and running, you want to upload 2 videos, minimum 10 minutes each. It's your choice of topic, but do think about what I talked about in today's meeting, which is think about what is the theme of your channel. And those are the kind of videos you want to make. Don't worry about too much about if it's a good video, bad video, this kind of video, that kind of video. Not so important at this point. You're just learning how to create a video, how to post a video, deal with some of the mistakes, lighting, camera, getting your audio right, all that kind of good stuff. So we want to just iron out all of those mistakes this month, so that way starting next month we start producing some quality videos. And the third one is probably the harder one. It's very easy when you make a great video and share it with your friends, but it's very hard to do that when you have a bad video. But guess what? That's what friends are for. They're there to help you. Send those 2 videos to friends. You can definitely send it to us. We'll be happy to give you feedback, but share it with your friends, family members, the people who you think can give you feedback. Not the people who just say, oh, that's a great video, that's an awesome video. No, you want to get a feedback from people who can tell you, okay, I didn't understand that. You're going too fast. Your voice was not clear, or your audio was not, like people who can tell you the real problems with your videos, okay? And make a note of all of those videos. And we're going to cover with all these things that you learned. So all of you guys, next month, send me those comments, the things that you have learned, and we will pick some of the common ones and try to address all of those. All right. So having that said, now it's our time to review your YouTube channel. So like I said earlier, hopefully all of you guys have your YouTube channels up and running, and I have the list of all your YouTube channels. We will go ahead and review each one of them and give you a quick feedback on each one of them so you can improve them. And obviously we will be continue to review your channels for the next coming months as well. So we want them to grow every single week. All right, so I'm going to stop the video here, but the guests are welcome to stick around so they can watch our feedback on these YouTube channels, and hopefully they can learn something from there. So once again, thank you so much, guys, for sticking around. If you guys need some notes, have any questions on these ideas, don't hesitate, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you with that. And let's take a quick 5 minutes break, and then we will jump into reviewing your YouTube channel.